And great to be back with you. I'm in Cohen with the little general of the Big Three. Hey, we're back. It's Avery Johnson. So excited to start a brand new Big Three season.
Yeah, so fired up for this season. I think this is the deepest pool of talent that the Big Three has ever seen in the history of the Big Three. And it starts in the first game. Whenever you can roll out Joe Johnson, ISO Joe. Joe can do it all. He's in phenomenal shape. Had a little bit of a brief 10-day contract with the Boston Celtics. So whenever Joe Johnson is on the floor, Big Three fans are going to be tuning in, and hopefully we'll have a great crowd here to witness all three of these games today.
You know what it's like to win a championship with the Spurs. So does this guy, Steven Jackson, getting Trilogy for a second year, winning last year's title. And obviously they're going to miss Avery, their star from a year ago. Jarrett Jack, retiring for the Big Three, was a coach this year with the Phoenix Suns, averaged nearly 20 points per game. But the good news is the captainship goes from Jarrett Jack to James Flight White, the only two-time winner in the Big Three.
Yeah, James White has been incredible. This guy, he's played in Italy, three-time Italian All-Star. His body, man, the size, being able to post up, he's improved his three-point range. Love James White's game.
Now, Lisa Leslie will on coach today for the Triplets, so Gennaro Pargo from Chicago will be the acting player coach for the Triplets. He is with his brother Jeremy on this year's roster. But of course, when you think about the Triplets, it's all about getting a man named Joe Johnson the ball. He is the best league has ever seen.
Yeah, and Joe Johnson just plays with such a high level of confidence. He's a very underrated defender. You cannot think you can just go at Joe Johnson when he's on a defensive end. He makes threes from the corners with his eyes closed. Joe is just historically an incredible scorer in the game of basketball, period.
Let's take a look at the PNC Bank rosters for game number 1. Ryan Hollins providing some much-needed size and athleticism for the Triplets this year. And for Trilogy, Amir Johnson, the co-captain, a veteran in the NBA, 15 seasons. And this year played for G League Ignite, a veteran presence for the defending champs in the Big Three. Well, we have a new third member of our team this year. Let's say hello to the former Ball Hawk captain, Brian Scalabrine.
Hey guys, right away I saw Joe Johnson. He said, Scal, we couldn't get one in Boston because a lot of people remember Joe Johnson got that 10-day contract with the Boston Celtics. The Celtics were struggling at the time, but Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, those guys said, hey, we looked up to ISO Joe. They're a little bit in awe of him. And then from that point on, the Celtics turned their season around, and everybody will remember the time where ISO Joe came back to the Celtics and had that bucket at the end of the game.
All right, Scal. Can't wait to see ISO Joe in his season debut. Key rules in the Big Three. Target score is 50. You must win by 2. There's no game clock. And foul shots, you get one shot. It's worth the number of points corresponding to where the foul occurred. So if a shooter is fouled shooting a 4-point shot, they'll get one shot from one of the 3 4-point circles each, 30 feet away. All right, let's do it. Season 5 underway from the Windy City. James White, first look, nails the 3.
And that's what happens when you start a game. You got to set play, your best play, because you want to start building some momentum to get this game off to a nice start. Nice call by Action Jack.
ISO Joe, isolation with the first points for the Triplets. So Avery, for Trilogy, you have Isaiah Briscoe, Amir Johnson, and James White against Joe Johnson, Ryan Hollins, and Jeremy Pargo. Briscoe, what a year last season. Johnson, push shot, in and out.
Yep, Briscoe, here's a kid that went undrafted in the 2017 draft. I coached against him when he was at Kentucky. Just like Joe Johnson on that play, you'll see Briscoe getting to his left hand trying to get downhill. He's more of a driver and a slasher.
Big question, whenever it's ISO Joe, how do you defend him? Nice look to White. Hits another 3.
Yeah, but passer makes the shooter. That's what we were talking about. You got to know who you're defending. Briscoe's a driver, nice drive and penetrating pitch.
Briscoe, just 26. White against Johnson. ISO Joe leans in, scores, and the foul.
In that situation, you can see White is saying, hey, where's my help? I need some help here. Come over, rotate.
One shot for Joe Johnson. So Joe Johnson, a couple of buckets here in game one. Scal mentioned the jumper in Boston. Came in late December, December 22nd, 2021. Celtics giving him a 10-day hardship contract. And wouldn't you know it, at the age of 40, 18th NBA season, hits the late two to get on the scoreboard. What a moment it was at TD Garden that night.
Yeah, the fans really just were so kind to Joe.
Briscoe with the fall away.
Briscoe, whenever he's making that fall away shot, he's going to be hard to guard. It's going to be a long game when he gets his fade away and start making a few threes.
Pargo with the teardrop bang. No early rust here to begin game one. Jeremy Pargo last year with Three's Company. Briscoe on the attack. Bumped. Now we got a blocking foul on Ryan Hollins for the Triplets.
It's amazing. You know, it's 3-on-3, but you still have to play the correct pick and roll coverage. Are you going to force it down or force baseline? Some people call it push. Are you going to force it middle and switch? Are you going to use a surprise trap?
Briscoe had Johnson for a moment. Way off the mark. Never hit the rim. ISO Joe out of a double. Pargo over White. Banks it in.
And in situations like that, Pargo's going to have to make a few three-point shots because those lanes are going to be closed if they play him for the drive. We know Joe Johnson is going to draw a ton of attention.
Big screen, White on the attack, scores, and the foul. And James White and Trilogy tie game at 10.
And that's what we were talking about in our open when we showed the highlights of James White. He plays well through contact. Here's the foul, finishing around the basket. Veteran players just are really magnificent at doing this. Some of your younger players, they'll be satisfied with getting fouled, but not James White.
Veteran of 3 NBA seasons, James Flight White. Three-point play, and early on 3 ties and 4 lead changes here to begin game one.
I love about the Big 3 games, they go fast. You know, we're not sitting around just milking the free throw line. You get one shot.
Loose ball foul. It's going to stay with the Triplets. Briscoe, he was in a battle with Joe Johnson.
And that's why in 3-on-3, it's a premium on boxing out. You cannot hide.
No.
It's like when you go to tell jokes and you're a comedian in front of a crowd of 17,000, but then you try to go and have a show in front of your family with about 15 people. You can't hide.
Toughest critics.
Toughest critics.
And you got to be in shape. And Joe Johnson in incredible shape. Off the mark on the step back. Collins dragged down. They let it go. Briscoe frees up Earl Clark. Way off the mark.
And see, that's where the scouting report comes in. You know, who are we going to rotate to? Who's a premium on getting the ball out of their hands?
Alonzo G in for Ryan Hollins, both drafted this year. Hollins going 6th overall. G went in the 2nd round. Jeremy Pargo pair with his brother Gennaro, player coach today for the Triplets. Lisa Leslie now with the team. Johnson. Look at the rebound. Follows his own miss.
Yeah, excellent defense by Earl Clark.
Clark switched on to ISO Joe. Tip, no. Third chance. Pargo wants the 3. And the rebound of James White.
He's going to have to make a couple of those threes before teams start rotating. Sometimes it's better to just cut. Try to force another defender to pick you up on the drive, and maybe that's where your skip pass game comes into play.
What a shoot, Pargo. Knocks down the 3. game in the Windy City.
Yeah, Pargo says, hey, Coach Avery's saying I'm being disrespected on my three-point shot. Earl, you better move up 1 or 2 spots. You better move from Milwaukee to Chicago and defend that three-point shot. Retiring after such an illustrious career. She's 41 years old.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Christ the King in Queens to Connecticut to a long run in the WNBA and Olympic success with the United States.
I was having fun with Rip Hamilton on CBS Sports HQ. I said, I think she can still beat you in one-on-one, Rip. He disagreed.
How about this? Pargo pulling a chair on Clark.
Yeah, Charles Barkley made this familiar because he wasn't a very good defender. When the guys like Hakeem Olajuwon, our commissioner here with the Big Three, Clyde Drexler's old teammate, would be posting him up, or Patrick Ewing. That was his defense, trying to pull a chair.
Veteran move, whatever it takes. Pargo hits another three. Good start for Jeremy Pargo in his triplets debut.
Yeah, Pargo's getting hot from the three-point line. Another guy that's an assistant coach with an NBA team. He's an assistant with the Pacers.
Last year with Three's Company, Pargo made 5 4-point shots. Earl Clark, tough shot. David Hawkins, back with Trilogy. Drafted in the second round, spin cycle, and G bites. Hawkins will get 1 shot for 2 for Trilogy.
As a coach, and I've coached, 3 different teams, both in college and the league, you want to say stay down in those situations. Do not bail out the offensive player. Stay on your feet, contest with high hands, but stay on the ground. Don't take off.
No. Big Three, depending where you're fouled, it's 1 shot. Could be for 2 points, 3 points, or if you're foul shooting a 4-point shot, you get 1 shot from one of the 4-point circles for 4. 1 to shoot, fadeaway is good. And Jeremy Pargo putting on a shooting show in game 1.
Yeah, I think we motivated him, man. He's on fire. Not bring the fire. Pargo is on fire.
NBA Jam, he's on fire.
Yeah.
10-0 run for the Triplets. Clark denied but fouled. He'll get a 2-point shot.
You have to adjust your scouting report. You have to get under his skin, basically, in those situations when a guy's hot from 3. Maybe you'll close out to what we call the touch, but now you got to close out, get under his jersey, force him to drive the basketball when a guy's going like he is, like Pargo's got it going from 3.
Earl Clark, 6'10". Ice Cube mentioned on the pregame show. Earl Clark, in addition to the Trilogy team after Jared Jack retired after last year's championship win.
Yeah, absolutely. Just adding size, drafted number 2 overall.
Oh, nice swipe. Clark with the steal.
Whenever you can add size and versatility, that's the key. Nice pass.
Here he is, Clark for 3. Up, and he comes. Kept it alive to Briscoe. Relocates. Nice move by G, nearly with the clean steal.
Might have got away with a little bit of a travel there. Shuffling his feet, dancing a little bit. Like you like to do it in the Soul Train line. I've heard about you.
Always. I think we're due for our first Rager in the Big Three season. I'm only kidding somewhat. Here's Briscoe, doubled. Extra feed, Clark to Hawkins.
See, in this situation, you gotta read this game and that's why Joe Johnson is such an intelligent player. He realizes, look, we're a little bit cold from 3 over these last 2 possessions. Now let's mix it up, get the ball to the basket. Your guys are open for a reason. I remember coaches used to tell me that. You're open for a reason. So use a counter measure.
Now changes for Trilogy. Clark and Hawkins will get a breather. In comes White and Johnson. And speaking of Johnson, Joe will get a 2-point shot. Triplets 20, Trilogy 13. And the big story has been the shooting of Jeremy Pargo in his Triplets debut. And there's his brother Gennaro as the acting coach.
Yeah, I told Pardo, Gennaro, I said, man, there's a lot of pressure on you in this game because you're feeling in the shoes of a legend.
Oh, yeah.
Lisa Leslie.
Nice finish. Briscoe getting the roll against Hollins.
We definitely miss Lisa Leslie.
We do. How about this finish by the young man from New Jersey?
Yep. Hollins, whenever you're late in anything, that's not good. Hollins has to move over and get in better legal guarding position in that situation.
So 3-point play. Trilogy within 6. Yeah, no clock in the Big 3. First to 50 wins, first to 25 will get us to the break. Out of a double, Hollins, hook shot. That should be a nice matchup throughout this first game. Johnson against Ryan Hollins. Briscoe with the fadeaway, and it's through.
Man, when you're down and you're trying to close a gap, you got to take quality shots. That was a quality shot. Even though it was contested, that's Briscoe's shot.
One dribble, open 3. ISO Joe nails it. And we've hit the break in game number 1. Triplets by 7 over Trilogy.
Yeah, Joe Johnson in that situation, you can just say book it. There's nobody here between he and the West Coast. Nice shot by Joe Johnson. Money.
We're back in Chicago tomorrow and next week, and then starting week 3, Big 3 will be in Dallas at the Comerica Center. Tickets are on sale. Get them at big3.com/tickets, and we'll see you at the game. Here in game 1, Triplets up by 7 on Trilogy. Ice Cube and the first lady of the Big 3, his wife Kim. But in the first half, favorite Jeremy Pargo going off for the Triplets.
Yeah, Pargo says, I'm going to forgive you guys for not drafting me in the 2019 Big 3 draft. But because Coutinho Mobley got injured, he was able to add it to the roster. And now this guy's been going to work inside, outside, step back threes. Love it.
Scal with Mr. Pargo.
I'm here with Jeremy Pargo. So how do you balance you being aggressive, but you also have one of the best players in the Big 3 history?
Me being aggressive helps him. Him being aggressive helps me. It's the way the game goes. It flows. You get an open shot, you got to take it and make it.
You have a lot of pressure being on this team. They're expected to win.
Pressure on this team for sure.
They're expected to win a championship.
Exactly.
All right.
We got to live through it and get through it.
Keep it up.
All right, Scal and Avery, you love that team that embraces the pressure of trying to get back to a championship.
Yeah, Joe Johnson talked about it in our pregame. He said it's all about winning championships. He didn't say he wants to win another MVP or his coach to be good coach of the year. It's about winning, and that's what it's all about. These guys take pride. They take unbelievable care of their bodies in the offseason.
Well, Hollins mistimed it. Good look, though, from Pargo.
Excellent pass.
Briscoe jockeying. Layup's good from Isaiah Briscoe.
And that just showed the brute strength and tenacity of Briscoe in a situation to just overpower the defense.
It'll stay with the Triplets. Ed Cohen, Avery Johnson, Brian Scalabrine, our entire CBS crew here from Chicago for week 1 in the 5th Big 3 season. Pretty cool. Johnson with Pargo and Hollins. ISO Joe, off glass missed.
That was a missed opportunity by Amir Johnson. I thought he could have gone right back up with the shot because when the ball doesn't hit the rim, you can go up with the basketball. Nice little rebound here and foul. Yeah, so they didn't touch anything in here. Smart by Ryan Hollins.
And Avery, for those new to the Big Three, if a shot hits the rim and is rebounded by the defensive team, it needs to be cleared to the three-point arc. If it doesn't hit the rim or there's a steal, you can just go right up with it. And there's Gennaro Pargo, coaching in place of Lisa Leslie today. Briscoe putting on the moves. White, couple of fakes, gets by Joe. Scoop not there.
I hope we can get White's last catch at the three-point line here on a clip, because I want to talk to especially all the young people that love to play the game of basketball. You got to be in a ready shooting stance. You got to be ready to shoot. You got to be what we call shot ready. Because White wasn't shot ready, he couldn't get that attempt off from the three-point line. I'll explain later.
Yeah, steps here on Briscoe. And you're going against a guy in Joe Johnson in that particular case. But let's talk about Gennaro Pargo, Avery, because you think about the opportunity today. He has coached in the G League, hometown with the Windy City Bulls. His past year, a player development coach with Indiana. And, you know, part of that is you have to coach NBA players, work with them on a daily basis, but on your own time, you've got to stay in shape.
Yeah, and I think this is a seamless transition for Pargo, because whenever you've had that experience coaching young players, older players, he's working with Rick Carlisle, guy who's had a heck of a run as a coach.
16 now for Joe Johnson. Timeout, Triplets by 12. Triplets. Yeah, quick inbounds, and White able to score at the rim.
Yeah, and that's what happens. You call a timeout. You see Coach Action Jackson up trying to get his team fired up. I just want some of that jewelry that he has on. He's blinding me with that jewelry, man. Look at that.
Pargo, no. I mean, couldn't you save it for maybe the semifinals or the championship or the Bahamas? This is week one. This is a statement.
Yeah, this is a statement. Tell you what, man. Action Jackson, he's probably got like 5 security guards.
You stare at it long enough, you're seeing stars.
Yeah. But you see, that's what happens with the Big Three, man. We make fashion statements, our coaches. We got arguably the best coaching lineup in basketball. 12 teams, same 12 head coaches from last year. Briscoe, nice move, can't finish, but he's fouled. Collins, you can see the frustration as he decks Briscoe. Yeah, and when you're talking about, you know, Steven Jackson, look at this nice daredevil drive here using his body. George the Iceman Gervin, Dr. J, Rick Mahorn, Oakley. Do not make Charles Oakley.
Rick Barry is back,
yeah.
Lisa Leslie. But Ice Cube has spoken about what those Hall of Famers and great basketball players, champions in the NBA, they lend a credibility to the Big Three that really is unmatched.
Yeah, basketball minds. Nancy Lieberman.
Joe Johnson, the star right now. Triplets 36, Trilogy 24. He's in mid-season form.
Yeah.
White wants it. Instead, Johnson in and out. ISO Joe, fade away. Halfway down, but no.
Yeah, and even though that shot didn't go down, look at the lift on his shot. His legs just look fresh.
Good defense. And Johnson with the foul as it got to Hollins.
Yeah, because of the physicality of the Big Three, by the time you get the week 6, maybe week 5 thing, you know, body starts to feel a little bit different. We've talked to guys like Katino Mobley for years about his preparation for a Big Three game on the weekend, and the hot tub, the steam rooms, the massages, the weight training, getting on the Stairmaster.
4-point shot, too much. ISO Joe really feeling it in this first game. Jeremy Pargo contested, too much. Again, the big story, matchup of the prior 2 Big Three champions, Earl Clark. That won't go.
And with a guy like Pargo, when you made a couple of threes, sometime as a coach, you'll give him 1 or 2. bad ones, just in case.
Hangs and finishes. ISO Joe with the left.
And see, that's about the fundamentals that's so underrated by Joe Johnson. Nice little up fake finish. Joe Johnson can do it from behind the three-point line. He can do it in the paint. So here on this first one, a little step back, mid-range game, and then now he's saying mouse in the house, even though that mouse is 6'8". That's not too small of a mouse.
Make him shoot, turn around, jump. That's what you do. Hey, I know, you don't go, but you still got to help. You got to show yourself, but don't go. You know what I mean? Because all Ryan going to do is try to come over here and rebound. You got to stay home. You ain't helping.
Well, Tim Duncan once called him the ultimate teammate. That is big praise from the big fundamental.
Yeah, and you know what? Coach Greg Popovich talked about how Steven Jackson maybe was a little bit hard to coach, but you need Steven Jacksons on your team to win a championship. You see it with Draymond Green.
Huge.
I don't think Draymond Green's the easiest guy to coach, but you definitely need him on your team because of their toughness and how they raise up the level of intensity of their teammates.
Right now, largest lead for the Triplets. ISO Joe now at 21 after that last three-point play.
If I had more Steven Jacksons, I may still be coaching.
TBD. Rainmaker not there. And a loose ball foul. The Triplets, Avery, they look focused like they did early last year when they won. Got off to a really good start, but they fell short in the Bahamas in the semifinals against the three-headed monsters. They have the look of one of the top contenders again in the Big Three.
Yep, and it starts with Joe. What you talk about in practice, in the locker room, when you're having dinners together, that's where a lot of this starts. It doesn't just start when you show up for a game. It's the preparation, it's the attitude, it's the attention to detail.
39-24 Triplets. Briscoe too much. Big rebound White. He's fouled by ISO Joe.
Smart play by James White. Rebounds from that left wing a lot of times come off on the right side of the basket. He went and gained on Joe Johnson, established that offensive rebounding position.
So one shot for 2 points. The numbers, James White, 11 points here in game one. And gets the 2 there. Let's go over to Brian Scalabrine with more. Scal.
Yeah, one thing Joe Johnson talked about is like the addition of Ryan Hollins, just wanted to get more athletic. And these guys have one goal in mind. It is to win a championship.
I love it. As Johnson's shot goes out of bounds, but Avery, they've got the shooters. And Scal, you see it, the guards who can get to the basket, but Hollins really gives that next dimension.
Yeah, it's all about paint presence for them. They want to be able to. They like playing off of misses, and they need a guy to dominate the paint. Joe Johnson felt like he got double-teamed a lot in the championship game, and with Ryan Hollins there, they feel like they can go over the top as opposed to with Al Jefferson, he's more of a post-up threat.
Hey, Scal, I think I was reading the promo incorrectly in our pregame show. I thought you averaged 11 and a half.
You got to move that decimal point. Hey, don't we all want to move that decimal point in our lives, right?
Amen.
Scal, we love you. It's great to have you on the team. We have to break out the fatheads that we saw a couple of years ago in Milwaukee. That was a big Scal moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are those guys at today?
We're close. 90 minutes. Fadeaway's good. Earl Clark with the finish.
I saw Scal after game one in San Francisco, and all we were talking about was how excited we were to be back with the Big Three this year and to have Scal on our team this year.
Season 5 Big Threes, third season here on CBS. Great to be with you for day number 1 here from Chicago. Do 3 more games tomorrow. First 2 weeks in the Windy City, followed by 6 in Dallas. And Joe Johnson, Avery, in MVP form on day 1.
Yeah, you have to always account for where Joe Johnson is. You can't play defense, and here Amir Johnson should have come over and helped. And hey, Joe Johnson, you gotta not close out to him. You have to run out to Joe Johnson and basically act like you're trying to block his shot and run him off that corner three, which we all know statistically is the easiest three in basketball.
Think about what he accomplished in the NBA, and obviously he was back this year on the 10-day hardship with the Celtics in December. 16 points per game for his career. He shot 37% and 80% at the foul line. Those numbers at this level in the Big Three really lend themselves to major success at all three levels.
Well, what you're talking about is consistency. How many times, even in the NBA playoffs this year, that we saw teams lose by 50 and win a game. Can't win 2 games in a row. Joe Johnson is the complete opposite. He's the Mr. Consistency. He shows up every night. If they play tomorrow, Joe Johnson is going to give you the same type of production.
Wants space, doesn't get the bounce. He's got 21 points. White leading Trilogy with 13.
When you wake up in the morning as a coach, you want to know, who can I depend on? Who am I worried about? A Joe Johnson-led team, you're never really worried about Joe. You move on to the next guy. Or you move on to, are we going to be able to rebound enough? Take care of the ball. But you're not worried about Joe Johnson in terms of his readiness.
Briscoe doubles, good extra feed. Now it's White, open three, sets, fires, and scores.
And what I love about the Big Three, you can be down by 8 points, like Trilogy's down, and you can turn it up. You can turn it on. You got the 4-point play. That comes into play.
7-0 run and a steal. White the finish, 9 straight for Trilogy.
Yeah, to my point. You're never really comfortable until you hit that 50-point mark. The game's never really over, and that keeps fans into the game.
Winners last year, Trilogy within 6. Joe Johnson. G now. 9 straight points. Can they creep a little closer? Briscoe. No foul. Traveling. There on Briscoe. They say good D on Pargo.
That's one of those things, if I'm Gennaro Pargo in that situation, I'm happy. If I'm Steven Jackson as a coach, I'm very upset.
Let's see what they can do here. Trying to stop the run. Bullies to the rim. Joe with the finish. And to your point, that's a big swing given where we are in the game.
Yeah, and just the physicality, man. You can hear the bodies. You know, referees are not just bailing these guys out. You got to make a play. You have to be strong with the basketball.
Wow, 2-man show. Jeremy Pargo, Joe Johnson combining for 39 of 41. Never hit the rim. Briscoe able to clean it up and finish.
So that means you got to force the third guy to score. You got to make them find the third guy.
First to 50 wins, must win by 2. Oh, White couldn't handle, but knocked out by G after Briscoe again pulled the chair.
Yeah, and even though a guy like G is not contributing offensively, we just showed you the stat. Those defensive plays in little ways like that, that's how you can contribute to your team's success.
By the way, red floor, it pops here in 2022. Earl Clark with the height advantage. Spins, fades, ripped out.
That's what I love about the creativity of the Big Three. You just never know what you're going to get.
Iso Joe with the corner triple. Continuing to add to his total. Timeout Trilogy. It's a 9-point lead for the Triplets.
Yeah, Joe likes that left corner spot. Yeah. Like I said earlier, you got to run out there. Here, see, sharp closeout. That's a sharp closeout. And you got to know where the guy is right-handed or left-handed. You can't close out to the middle of his body on the wrong side. You got to over-exaggerate that right side of Joe's body.
He has 26. 9-point lead, 44-35. Triplets with the advantage. Game 1 of this triple header. Next up, Bivouac and Threes Company. Maybe we'll get our first Big 3 looks at Michael Beasley for Three's Company and Gerald Green, the captain now for Bivouac.
Yeah, Gerald Green, the high flyer. Boy, I know he's going to put on a show for the fans. Ooh, man, this guy once went out and blew out a candle in a dunk contest and dunked the ball. And he still has that athleticism.
And the shame is he was runner-up. As Dwight Howard put on a Superman cape and stole the show. Earl Clark going baseline. Shot clock wasn't ready for it. Expires for Trilogy.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about in terms of Joe Johnson's defense. He's a two-way player. You gotta have that clock in your mind. That's a turnover when you have those shot clock violations.
Internal.
Yeah.
Argo, 4-point king last year, made 5. Briscoe giving him no space. Jeremy Pargo on the attack. Want to shoot, does he know it? Leans in late. Shot clock violation on the triplets now.
Excellent defense. Excellent defense.
Clark, Briscoe, and White for Trilogy. White open out of the double. Knocks down the 3.
That's the second time earlier in the game Briscoe made the same move. He drove baseline. He got under control underneath the basket or behind the basket. He didn't step on the baseline. Excellent play, driving kick by Briscoe.
Joe Johnson to the rim. Foul, late whistle, and Flight White not pleased.
Yeah, that was a foul on White. Looked like he grabbed him with his right hand around the waist.
Now, we have not seen it yet.
Bring the fire.
Will Steven Jackson do it? Up, he's making his way over. For the first time in season 5, we're gonna bring the fire in Chicago. New last year, it was a hit, and Joe Johnson will go one-on-one with James White.
Yeah, I just love that the 2 players who are involved, so it's not like you can sub another guy in.
I guess the foul was called on Clark.
Oh, wow. Interesting. I thought the foul was on White.
Me too. Here we go. So if Johnson scores or is fouled, it's counted 2 points. If Clark stops him cleanly, you wave off the foul and Trilogy gets the ball.
Yep.
First, bring the fire. ISO Joe stops and scores. And the triplets with the bucket, and now point game. They're 4 points from victory.
That's the wrong guy to bring the fire. ISO Joe in a one-on-one situation.
You're playing with fire.
You can bet the over or under in that situation on whether he's going to be successful.
It's the great Chicago fire.
Yeah.
46-38 triplets. ISO Joe backs down Briscoe. Shot clock at 5. Fadeaway 3 off the mark.
Briscoe, you got to move Briscoe around a little bit. I know it's Joe Johnson, but sometime if he doesn't have to move, if he could just use his lower body or gravity.
4-point shot, he banked it in. Now, was he fouled? They're going to see to make sure he was in the 4-point circle, and he wanted an N1. What a shot.
What a shot, off balance. He definitely got fouled in that situation. I don't know if he was in the 4-point circle here. No. Well, it depends on if his shoestring counts.
Number 1, eagle eye by the officials. That was as close as it gets. And Avery, again, any part of your shoe, if it touches any part of the 4-point circle, it's good for 4. Let's look.
Well, his shoe is out, but I don't think the shoe.
You know, for a moment I was getting really excited.
Stands to the three-point basket. He was not in the four-point circle.
For Briscoe, there's never been a 5-point play in Big 3 history. That was close.
That was close. Yep.
But it's a 3, no foul. Got a 5-point game.
Yeah, and again, if that was a 4-point play, it would be a 4-point game.
Point game still for the Triplets.
You can never relax in the Big 3 game when you're ahead.
ISO Joe for the win, blocked. Briscoe denied by G, but he's fouled on the follow here for Trilogy.
Yeah, and see, this is the temptation when it's a 4-point game, that you can go for the dagger and make the 4-point shot and settle. Joe got his shot blocked. Briscoe was there, right place at the right time.
And now, Gennaro Pargo is going to bring the fire for the Triplets. Let's go through the stipulations. You can challenge a shooting foul. 2 players who go one-on-one. In this case, it's Isaiah Briscoe who was fouled, and the guy who fouled him in this particular case, Alonzo G, will try and get the stop for the Triplets.
And let's take a wild guess of which way Briscoe's going to drive here. They're going to try to force him right, but he wants to get left. There it is.
Briscoe to the left, scores, and the foul. Talk about bringing the fire and answering the bell.
Brought the fire, he brought the muscle. That was outstanding here. You knew he wanted to get left, and he got back to his left hand side of his body here. Wow, great body control.
Isaiah Briscoe.
So the Triplets make him earn it, and boy, does he earn it. A 19-7 Trilogy run, 46-43, Triplets by 3.
This is the Big 3 Season 5.
All right, Avery, it's still point game, but they need a 4-point shot. Do you go for it now, or do you go for a 2 or 3?
Got to get the best shot. Got to get the best shot here.
Johnson probing. ISO Joe. Open is G. Knocks down the 3. And double. Nice feed.
That's what I was talking about, being shot ready. She was really shot ready in that situation. I think Steven Jackson is upset because he thought Briscoe should have gotten a free throw there.
Johnson didn't have to clear. He's slapped and he's fouled, and now he can win the game at the foul line.
Yep.
And because both coaches use their Bring the Fire challenge,
This is for the game.
ISO Joe, 1 shot for the win. Let's go to Scal.
All right, so the argument over here is when Isaiah Briscoe on the challenge got fouled, it should have been back to the Trilogies.
Yes.
That was put them in the double bonus, and when you're in that bonus in the Big 3, you get the ball back. Steven Jackson was all over that, but yet they played that next possession. G hit the 3. Now I think they might actually go back, take the 3 away. This is going to be really interesting.
Well, Scott, you bring up a great point, and Avery, there is a rule defined in the Big 3 rulebook for a correctable error, and you have not the next play, but the next play after that. So essentially, 2 plays later, you can still go back and correct something that was not called at that time.
Right. And Scal is right. Steven Jackson is right. He got fouled and made a shot on the Big 3. On the Bring the Fire, should have retained the basketball. Yep. But they went alternate possessions there. And that's what Steven Jackson, he was almost on the court. It was like it was a 4th man on the court. He was so animated in that situation. And if they can go back and correct this, this just adds to the trust level with fans that the referees are just trying to get it right.
Yep. It's week 1. Got to work out the kinks at the end of the season. So this is huge because if they go back and correct the error earlier, you got Joe Johnson had a chance to win the game with a free throw. Instead, it's 46-43, and Trilogy gets the ball down by 3.
I just love the passion of Steven Jackson. He's in there with his team. That's the type of coach you want to play for. The guy, and this is what we also talked about, he can never react, relax. You can see some relaxing moments there. Triplets went for the win, got their shot blocked.
Avery, you've lived it. You see Steven Jackson pleading his case. Now, give the officials credit. They listened, they made their review, and that's really the goal of all his passion and arguing. But I think they've determined that play continued too far, I would think, to go back and correct the error.
Shooting 1 for 2.
All right, this man has won 9 games with the final shot. Joe Johnson, shorts. Maybe justice for Trilogy.
Yeah, kind of what Rasheed Wallace used to talk about, justice.
Nice finish, Briscoe. Trilogy within 4, but still point game.
Yeah, Steven Jackson, he was about to go to the locker room. But Trilogy is hanging in there.
ISO Joe leads in,
game.
scores. Joe Johnson, the reigning MVP, with the finish, and the Triplets with the victory in the opener in Chicago.
Yeah, you got one team that's always going to be happy and one team that's going to be sad. And this team, the Triplets, they're leaving happy, and they got a happy man in Joe Johnson, who is a problem solver.
30 points for ISO Joe, another game winner. Over to Scout.
All right, ISO Joe got a little heated there for a second. Started tripping, talking to the crowd. What got into you going off in that game?
Sometimes you just, you need a little motivation to keep going. He wasn't heckling. He just kind of got me going a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's fun, it's all fun in the game, and the big 3, it lets you bring that part out. So I know it's very entertaining.
After you missed that free throw, there's no way you were going to pass that ball. You had to get that bucket, right?
Right. I had to get it back, Scout. But let's give Trilogy credit, because them guys fight, man. They make it tough. They fought back out in the game, and, we had to pull it out down the stretch. So it's fun, man. I love coming out competing every weekend, man. Ice Cube has done an amazing job with the big 3 and giving older guys like myself, an opportunity to still come out, have fun, and enjoy the game, because that fire never leaves, bro. Never leaves.
Thanks, Joe.
Yes, sir.
You got it. All right, guys, send it back to you.
All right, Scal. ISO Joe, his 10th career game-winning shot in the Big 3. Triplets win Game 1. We're off and running on Day 1 in the Big 3 on CBS.